As a teacher, Yolonda Kelsor Clay feels that education is power. Pursuing information about mental illness, including depression and addiction in her family and friends, eventually made her more aware of her own long-term bouts with depression and suicidal thoughts. Now Yolonda uses her own experience to help others in crisis move toward recovery.
Since I was 15, I think that's when it really hit me the hardest. I lost my grandmother to breast cancer, and she had been my rock, and I had basically lived with her. Even though my parents were there, they lived in the house beside my grandmother, and when she was gone, it was like a part of me was buried as well. And my depression got even worse, to the point that I just really didn't want to go on. And my parents really didn't believe in going to a psychiatrist at that time or a therapist. So I was in my 30s before I actually became treated for major depression. And I found that it was a biological disorder, that I wasn't a bad parent necessarily. My parents hadn't been bad parents. It was just like if I had been diagnosed with asthma and there was a family history of asthma or diabetes or heart disease or hypertension, and the propensity was there for it to be played out.
One of the net effects of stigma is to cause us to turn away from other people and to believe that this is something that cannot be discussed, and if we can't discuss it, we can't really get a handle on it cognitively and emotionally. We can't bring it to some degree of resolution. So stigma is something that I think isolates people from one another and isolates people from the broader community. If we could never say, my family member has cancer, how isolating would that be?